19th Annual Oscar Qualifying HollyShorts Film Festival. I am your co-host, Indiana Underhill, DP and co-founder of CFA, Cinematography for Actors. We have our partner of CFA, Florian Anderson, writer, director, actor, here helping me do these interviews today. And I am really excited because not only have I seen this movie, but I love these two filmmakers. And that is because we all went to AFI together, and it is great to have them here on the couch. So we have two filmmakers from the film We Were Meant To, and that is director Tari Wariebi.
Yes. You had it.
I did get it.
Yes.
I knew it because in AFI I always was like, I gotta remember his last name. Like I know it. Like he said it so much. Like I know it. And we have DP Veronica Bouza, who is a DP in my year at AFI and a director in my year at AFI.
Yes.
So their success is just like something I'm so excited about, and they've had a lot of success with this film. Welcome.
Thank you for having us. This is super
thank
exciting.
you so much.
Of course, yes. So before we dive in, these are short interviews. I want to give people context. What is We Were Meant To about?
Okay. So I've said this a million times, so I can try to say
you got this.
as concise as possible. So it's a coming-of-age story set in a world where young black men have wings and their first flight is a rites of passage. So our main character, Akil, is trying to figure out where he's going to take his first flight.
Awesome. And like I said, I've actually seen this film. A lot of them we haven't had the time to actually watch, but I remember watching this for the first time, and I was just so stoked because not only were you able to create such beautiful imagery and the creation of the story, but you also had to go against all odds because this was like before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and after the pandemic, right?
Yes.
The height of it, at least.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's go from the beginning on how you two found each other and as collaborators.
Oh, man. This is easy. First day of school.
Awesome.
Literally the first day of
First
school.
day.
We were taking photos, and we met, I think, in the line after or just after or just before we took our photos, right?
Yeah, and we ended up doing, I think before going to We Were Meant To, we did like 10 projects together. So it's been years of collaboration to then going into this project, which made it just even more special. So we did a lot of our student films together, and then films outside of AFI, and
random projects to get paid and stuff.
a lot of like, hey, we're gonna make some money today. I'm like, okay, sure.
Great, that sounds great. Yeah, we love making money in this industry, don't we? Now, from concept, Tari, and now seeing it on the big screen, what are the biggest changes you had to make?
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, a little bit of scale and scope, but I think I would say, I think we got most of it. I think the biggest limitations were just like budgetary things, like if we could have more VFX or a bigger crowd or more extras in certain scenes, but more so like I think we got a lot of what we wanted to see. I'm sure you would have loved more.
Yeah, I mean, I think a big part of this was that it was a pandemic film, and we were slated to shoot it March 2020, and we all know what happened there.
Yeah.
And then we shot it March 21, and then it got finished in summer of 22. So it's just this like trial and error of starting over. Okay, we got the band back. Okay, the band's breaking up for a little bit, and then we're coming back together. But every time we came back together, we all were working consistently. So we were all bringing these new skills and everything.
And new ideas, and just kind of building on what we already had. So honestly, it's a weird thing to say, but I think the pandemic kind of helped grow the film. So when I look at it now, it's like any director, you're gonna be like, I wish we shot. But like truthfully, like the essence, the story, everything is there. So much so that I think we had more than we expected, and we got to cut some stuff back and trim stuff in post. So that was.
I mean, it's only like 27 minutes.
It's only So
25. Credits make it 27, but it's a 25. Movie. Don't want to scare anybody away, but no one says it feels like.
It's actually a really great film. So
And I want to talk about another challenge, like talking about VFX. That's like a big part of this movie, and. Did you have like a very specific idea in mind, or did it grow working in collaboration with your post-production team?
Man, so I can't draw.
I can't either.
Yeah, so and that doesn't stop us from drawing all the time. We had a specific design for the wings. Traditionally, when you hear stories about wings, they come out the back, and I was just like, no, no, this is not that movie. And everyone's like, so what does it look like? And then I had a stick figure, a little detailed drawing that everyone laughed at, but then a company or two took it serious. So, shout out to Mother Pluckers, a feathering company on the east side of LA.
Yeah.
They typically do more fashion and retail stuff, but they were they were down to kind of do some R&D with us. And then when our post house came in, they said yes, and they were like, this is actually pretty genius design. It's the first kind of design that we can mix actual practical special effects and VFX in this way where it isn't all or nothing. So it really worked out. But it started with an idea, like a legit bad sketch that I would show in meetings with like real people with like a straight face, like, this is what we're trying to do. And they were like, okay. And I just had, all the conviction. But yeah, it worked out.
Yeah,
and because the wings are a character in this film, it's like huge part of it. I mean, that's the world building aspect of it. How did you work with who you ended up casting for the film? How did you end up working with them on the wings and your idea of it? Was there something that they were attached to on set that allowed them to feel it, or was it really just kind of working with them on like, it will be like this?
No, they felt it, and I did it first. So I don't know how long I can keep this rule going, but I typically don't ask actors or most of my collaborators to do anything I wouldn't do. So I'm like, so I had the first prototype of the wings.
Okay.
So in the midst of the pandemic where everyone was home, I was like sneaking away to this place, and they were like trying it on me, and we were just hoping we'd have it set whenever we were ready to go. And then I skydived. Which I had never planned to do in life,
goodness.
but I just wanted to know what it felt like to be in those things. So when I came back to them and they had this stuff, it was like we could talk through a shared experience. They knew what it felt like. Their wings, everyone's wings on them were practical.
Wow. Okay.
And then the extensions were practical for our lead character, and then they just kind of enhanced some stuff with like CGI and VFX, but they got to feel that. And even like for some of the other stunts, like there's wire work, so he's on the roof. He's levitating. Like those are real things. So,
I would say a big part would be like really looking at the frame, and you're like, oh no, he has some open patches.
Right.
Like we had extra feathers to kind of fill in gaps, and so like by the end of the shoot, it was a little wild.
Yeah.
It was a little crazy. There's more VFX help towards the end.
And we prayed that that encore just would be like, you guys didn't botch this. They were like, great.
It's a great rule of thumb to be able to say to your actor, like, I would never ask you something that I wouldn't do myself.
We have many pictures of Tari in the suit, like in a tank top, just like modeling it. And he's like, you could go like this.
That should be the real poster for the film. For the After Dark poster.
I still have my wings. I still have everyone's wings, actually.
I love it.
But I still have them. And
Yeah, there's something so special about keeping those, right? And holding.
Yeah, I try to keep something from every film.
Right?
Like this is the most amount of items I've had from a film. But usually I take like one thing, like a ring, a random prop. This is like the entire special effects wardrobe. Like I'm like, where am I gonna house this?
So you've worked together a lot. You said on like 10 projects, probably
10,
up to a dozen now.
Wow.
Veronica, what was it like when you first heard about the idea of wings and wingspan on how you wanted to photograph it?
Yeah, how was that?
It was a lot, because when we just teamed as friends, and we teamed on this Egyptian story, and I was like, oh, sweet.
Cool.
And then I go to a meeting, and he's like, hey, they're gonna fly. I was like, interesting, and it's not animated. So it took a lot of homework to kind of figure out, okay, how are we going to do that? And how is it going to be practical? What VFX elements are we going to kind of introduce? And I think every time we work together, we try to challenge ourselves in a way of like, what could we have done better? And then what stylistically can we play with? And so forth.
I think we both like to be a little bit scared. Like, if we can pull this off,
we got this then.
But I don't know. It's like that feeling. So we had that a lot. But I would say she always said yes. I mean, I think it's more so it's like, let's just figure it out is the biggest thing that we've always been. That's like our spirit. We'll be like, never done this before. But like, well, let's just figure it out. And it is a lot of homework. Sometimes a lot of our meetings we're just like, okay, here's some ideas. Let's throw some paint on the wall and see what happens. But it always starts with story.
I mean, I think about like going to AFI and we make proposals for every time we want to do something. I think I wrote a proposal for all of the possible proposals for this film.
Yeah.
You know,
It
and
was 9 proposals.
I wrote 9 proposals on why we needed 2 cameras, we needed stunts, we needed animals, we needed drones.
It's all justified. Yeah.
Yeah.
All that.
So I think by getting challenged, I want to kind of prove them more of like why we needed it.
And because you've worked on so many projects together, do you think that We Were Meant To is a kind of newer standalone visual piece for you two on the language you've built? Or do you say you have a style together that you kind of try and keep consistent? Obviously new elements come in, but would you say that this is like very different to what you normally do visually, or that you're like, I think this is probably like a keepsake for our relationship as collaborators?
I definitely would say this is like an amalgamation of our AFI journey. I think with all the projects we did at AFI, we were kind of trialing and erroring things, and like, you know, we shot on film, we shot on like really bad 8-bit cameras, we shot just random Steadicam oneers, and I think this was the time where we got to put all those pieces together and go back to our tastes and be like, okay, how do we really apply this?
Yeah, I think that's well said. I think this is an amalgamation of all the things we've done. I feel like this is probably the most encapsulating piece of our work.
Yeah.
I feel like this is like the baseline, and then everything after this, like, the rest of stuff you can throw away.
The interesting thing is like, in the time that I'm working with him, like I'm doing all these other projects, so I get to learn from all different types of directors and other filmmakers, and then bring it back and like, hey, I learned this, and he's like, I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, you're like, well, at least put it on the table.
I put it on the table.
That was great, man. I pitch Veronica to everybody because I feel like the stronger she gets, the stronger than like our work gets. So for me, it's like, I tell every director I know, like, you need DP. I was like, hey, I know someone, and everyone loves her work, and I'm like, I swear by it. And they're like, oh, I love that. I was like, we worked on it. I promise you, it's really good. Just because I feel like your collaborators kind of dictate how far you go. So I think if you push your collaborators and they are continuing to grow, then your work grows. So even if I didn't want to grow, I think she's always grown. So then it extends my work as well. So it just works that we both want to keep getting better.
I love that, you know, everyone who kind of applies to AFI or goes to AFI, I think a lot of them go because they know that the strength of the people that they find during that program is something that AFI is just so well known for. And I think you two are a testament to that type of collaboration. And so I'm so happy you were able to sit with us today and talk about We Were Meant To after 3 years of putting it together.
When you say it like that.
And I'm glad it's having so much success. It's well deserved. We Were Meant To is screening Saturday, August 19th at 7:30 p.m. What block is it in?
I think it's the Spotlight or something.
Awesome. Cool. In the Spotlight block. Very cool.
Like
and will you be there for Q&A?
Yes.
Cool. Great.
I will be in attendance.
Awesome. Tari, Veronica, thank you so much for joining us.
Congratulations.
Yes. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
This has been another episode of the Cinematography for Actors podcast. Follow us on wherever you listen to your podcast to keep up to date on new episode releases. We will be live through August 20th here at HollyShorts Film Fest. If you're here, drop in and say a little hello at the VIP lounge. We also want to thank our sponsors, Apogee, Film Tools, Roscoe, Lightstone Rentals, Canon, and First Mile Tech. As a special gift to you listeners, we've partnered with We Make Movies to get you a discount on comprehensive production insurance packages. Use code CFA23 on your intake form for 10% off your quote by visiting wemakemovies.org/insurance.
If you missed any of our live streams, you can watch all of our interviews on our YouTube channel, Cinematography for Actors. And make sure you follow us on Instagram at Cinematography for Actors. You can also catch us in a more formal setting on Monday, August 14th at Japan House for a panel discussion on the importance of bridging the gap between talent and crew. You can get 20% off of your ticket purchase by using the code HSFF2023CFA at checkout.
Thanks.